Good. Welcome to the stream, you guys. The podcast, Car Escape Podcast. What episode is this, William? Six. Episode 6. We got Michael Reilly. Super stoked to have him in here. Yeah, Riley, how you been? How's everything going, bro?
It's going.
Yeah,
Yeah, just working a lot.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. Just living in Denver still.
yeah,
Working constantly.
yeah. That's tight. Um, yeah. So I guess we'll kind of just talk about skateboarding for now, and we'll kind of work up to what more current stuff. So like, where did you grow up?
I mean, I kind of hopped around a bit, because my parents, they got a divorce. I was, like in Arvada, um, and then went to Middle Park, up in the mountains, like Granby,
Mm-hmm.
and then went to Brighton after that. Or no, I was back in Arvada for a little bit, and then went to Brighton, and then that's where I graduated high school from.
And so when you were in Arvada, what grade, like what school do you go to?
North Arvada Middle School.
Oh, you were in middle school.
Yeah,
Oh, really? And what year did you graduate high school?
2003.
Oh, okay. So you're at North Arvada, and I was there at the same time.
Yeah,
I didn't
I don't
know.
think we knew each
I
other
didn't
back
know
then,
you then.
though. No.
Check, Mike. Check. Mike. Check. Gustavo, can you hear us? Gustavo's here. This has never happened. All right, we there?
All right.
All right. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
So you said you were in North Arvada. You graduated 2003. So we were both at North Arvada together. And were you skating back then?
Yeah, I think when I just started skating. Like, I think I definitely skated I picked it up in between the summer of like 6th and 7th grade.
Okay.
So it would have been my first year there. I was skateboarding.
Okay. Okay. And so I could have swore I seen a picture of you and Kim Lee when you were like really young, like before middle school. Did you know?
Well, yes, we went to Swanson Elementary School.
Oh,
together.
okay. So I was gonna say then you didn't just go to you were there
Yeah,
in
I went
Arvada
to-
earlier than then.
Yeah, I went to Swanson Elementary from like 2nd grade on, something like that.
Oh, okay. Where were you living at? In like
Like right in the neighborhood, like by the dirt jumps on 72nd and Sheridan,
oh, okay.
where there was like that 7-Eleven and
Yes.
like a few other, there's like some bars and stuff like right there. There's
Yeah.
a neighborhood right behind that. That's where I lived at.
Okay, okay. All right. And then so 2nd grade to 7th grade you were in Arvada.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you were hanging out with like Kim and Courtney back then, or when you were little kids? Or?
I mean, mainly Kim. Courtney too, like by proxy, just because they're best friends, and
Yeah.
me and Kim are best friends. But it wasn't really like we we're friends or whatever. I think we dated in 3rd grade.
Oh, all right. That's tough.
But it wasn't until I came back that like in high school and stuff, because I still knew Kim.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was hanging out in Arvada all the time, even though I went to school in Brighton,
Oh, yeah.
it was like, I stayed at in their spare bedroom at their house.
Oh, yeah. You were
Like,
living there basically.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. How did that situation come about?
I don't know. Honestly,
You're
I
just
still
hanging
think
out-
about it to this day. It
You're
was
just
like,
hanging out there so much, and you just like,
Well, yeah, and she'd be like, "Oh, you can stay in the spare bedroom," and then it just turned into like every weekend.
oh,
And then, I remember there's a time where I sat down to eat with her parents,
uh-huh.
and her dad was like, "Do you get enough food at home?" He's all worried about. I was like, it's not like a broken home. I just prefer being here.
Yeah, who wouldn't prefer being at Kim's house back in the day, bro? It was
Exactly,
like,
like-
dude, we all were like, that was such an awesome place to hang out when we were kids, dude. It was so much fun over there.
Well, and especially on the weekends, it was like right next to 303 pretty much.
Yeah,
So I could just wake up and go down to the shop as soon as it opened and meet up with, whoever we were going to film with that day.
right.
And then just go skate all weekend.
Yeah, yeah, those were good times, man. And then so you were going to school in Brighton. Were you going to school from Kim's house,
Well,
or it was just the weekends?
just the weekends.
Okay.
Sometimes if there was like, if people wanted to like skate, like light up a spot at night during the week, which wasn't that often, but like when that happened, I'd just use my key and go, because I don't know if you remember, they had that like you could enter in the basement, like in the back
right?
door.
The, like sliding
So
doors,
they
right?
they didn't care if I just like crashed out there, especially if it was like a spot in Arvada or it was closer to be. It'd be easier for me to just crash out,
Yeah,
wake up early, and like drive all the way to
yeah.
Brighton.
Sex lights, bro. Sex lights, dude.
Yeah, right.
Oh man, that was the best view of Sex Lights. That was a great spot. And then, so you were in school in Brighton. You actually went to school with what's his face, bro? The like that rollerblader dude.
Brian
that-
Aragon?
Brian Aragon, yeah.
Yeah, so that was weird. When I went to so many schools, it was always like I'd show up and bring my skateboard and meet whoever else skateboarded, and then it'd be like, all right, cool, you're my new best friend.
Right.
And that was this dude, Justin Jump, but he was a little bit older than I was, and like he like kind of stopped skating. So then Brian Aragon met him, and then this guy Tyler Mitchell, who ended up like running. I think he might have bought it, but Golden Bear Bike Shop. It was like a BMX shop up in Thornton.
Okay.
But so it was like me, a BMX kid, and a rollerblader, like, and I had my VX.
Straight up rocket
So
power, bro.
yeah, exactly, yeah. And we'd like go to spots and film each other and stuff. So that was kind of fun, and it was a cool like perspective in that sense to be like, oh, I like know the rollerblader kids and the BMX kids. So then fast forward years later, we'd be at like Wheel Park in Aurora or something, and that's where I like had already kind of known, but like Royal and Avister and Jeremy Spire and fucking like Josh Larkin, a bunch of those kids, and I like kind of already knew them, and then so we'd like all roll up skateboard crew, and all the rollerbladers would be like, "Oh, what's up, Riley?" And like, my friends would be like, "The fuck was that?"
That's awesome.
You know those guys, huh?
But that's wild though, because Brian Aragon, he's like pretty much almost universally considered like the best dude
Rollerblader
ever
of all time.
right?
Well, I mean, like most successful for sure.
Yeah.
Like, as far as like on, not only like the companies he's involved with and helped start and continues to just run and everything like that, but also just like all his X Games medals and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
And just like all his street parts are just like
It's insane.
untouchable.
yeah.
Like,
Even it like holds up years later.
yeah, it's incredible. And the fact that dude's from like a podunk like shit kicking town
he
in
has a skate,
Brighton.
he had the new skate park's named after him.
Wow, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. That's amazing.
It's Brian Aragon Skate Park.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That was kind of weird, like going back, and I was like staying at my parents' house it was either or no, it wouldn't have been the holidays, probably like Thanksgiving though. I was there for a couple nights, and I was like, I'm gonna go check out the park, and didn't realize it was called that, and I like pulled up and see the sign, and I was like, huh.
yeah, that's incredible, dude. And so you what was like hanging out with him? Like he's just a cool regular kid, or
Yeah, he's just a normal dude.
yeah. And then he just like broke out, and you kind of lose touch with him, or you kept in touch with him, or
After high school, we kept in touch probably till probably up till like a decade ago.
okay,
But he doesn't live anywhere near the city because he was like coming into like Shag Lounge and stuff when I was
oh really?
managing it.
Uh huh.
But then I think he moved somewhere in
Like
now.
kind of the mountains. He's like kind of like
Yeah.
outdoorsy kind of dude.
Yeah.
I've been like seeing on his like
On his Instagram and
yeah
stuff.
like
Yeah.
fishing and shit like that.
Yeah, he'll like comment on random stuff I post
Oh yeah,
sometimes, and I do, or like, but
yeah, just whatever. It's it's
We're homies,
What's the new
but-
the new friendship of keeping in contact?
I mean, I'm
Sharing memes and
38.
shit. Right.
Now's
Right.
the time where all of that is like.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, that was kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy circumstance, and I always thought that was pretty cool. When I found out that a long time ago, I found out that you used to run around with him, and I always thought that was cool. But so you grew up in Brighton. Do you used to have like trouble with like Brighton kids like being a skater up there?
Yeah, it was crazy, cause like they had that like park that was made by the same people who did the metal ramp parks like G1 and
Arvada,
and G2 and
Arvada,
Arvada, Golden and
Anderson.
Yep. So but it was like the worst one out of all of them. But all the like charter school, there's a lot of charter schools in Brighton,
Mm-hmm.
and all of them would just hang out at the park,
Oh shit.
and it'd be like just me trying to skate this tiny little park, and just getting shit from all these kids.
Just have
that
a
were
whole
just hanging out.
full audience of people just like waiting
Yeah,
for
it
you to
was
just fucking
the
blow it.
worst. Yeah, I got in a couple fights, but nothing ever too crazy. I don't know.
And
Yeah.
you didn't have anybody to back you up because you're the only one skating.
Right. And so that's kind of like why as soon as I got done with school, I'd do like the loop of like, I would drive to Thornton to pick up Travis Law, and then we'd drive down and pick up Angel and David, and I think Trevor started riding with us too. And then so I'd drive all the way downtown pretty much because it's like right on Knox and Colfax basically. And then we'd either go to D Park or drive up to 303 and then meet up with more people and then go do
Just
whatever.
robble.
Yeah, every day.
Yeah. And so you're in Brighton, how did you even get connected with those guys in the first place?
Arvada Park.
Oh, really?
Because it was the only park I knew of.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like, before all that.
Yeah, there were no other parks. There was Anderson, Arvada, G1, G2.
At that point,
this was before Denver
I'm
Park,
pretty
right?
Oh, yeah. At this point in time, I'm pretty sure G2 wasn't even there. It was just G1.
Really?
Like Ulysses.
Right.
But I don't know, because like it was actually through Kim, because she knew
Everybody.
everybody.
Jared and
She didn't know Jared yet.
Oh, no.
But I met Jared skating at Arvada Park.
but Paul and because
I met Paul through
Kim, right, 'cause Paul went to
they were
Arvada.
homies, yeah.
and
I knew Joe
Joe
Ramirez
Ramirez.
too, yeah. But yeah, I met Jared the first time. He was with Travis and Spencer Risbeck at Arvada Park, and they made fun of me for pushing Mongo.
Oh yeah, let's go. You
Yeah.
used to push Mongo?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know
Hell
that.
yeah.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, for like the first 3 years.
Oh
of
man,
skating.
that's rough.
Well, I was in the mountains.
Oh yeah.
So it was like me and Jake McGee were the only people, and like he didn't really know Mongo was a thing,
Uh-huh.
and so that's like, I was just pushing Mongo,
Yeah.
and like, was skating, like
You could skate.
I could skate, but just didn't ever click to me that that's not how people in videos pushed.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then I come down and I'm like gonna skate the rail at Arvada Park because I'm like good enough to do board slides and front boards and stuff,
Uh-huh.
and then like within 10 seconds. Getting made fun of for pushing Mongo. And I was like these dudes. I also remember though after that I came home.
Like Spencer Risbeck and like Travis, like the two scariest dudes,
Yeah,
like just
exactly.
talking
Yeah,
that shit
I'm
to
like-
you. Like,
I'm like 14 or 15.
oh man, that's rough.
But I also remember coming home after that being like, "Hey mom, like I think I should get some tight pants."
Yeah.
Like I want to.
Still pumping Mongo in the
Yeah, I was
just
like,
full
just wanted to switch to hash
yeah,
immediately.
just the full steez change, like instant steez change. That's great.
I never pushed Mongo again after that though.
Yeah, that's great.
Like
That's,
I literally switched that
bro,
day.
bullying works, bro.
I went home and just pushed around my mom's apartment complex,
Mm-hmm.
like regular,
Uh-huh.
just for like 5 hours
Oh, yeah.
until it felt normal. And I was
Right.
like, okay, I can, and like practice throwing down my board
Uh-huh.
the right way.
That's-
so it
that-
wasn't like Reynolds, like
yeah.
because he used to push Mongo, and that's why he throws his board down like that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's wild. I didn't know that. And yeah, that is the Mongo throwdown is kind of hijinks, bro.
No, it's not good.
It's kind of hilarious, but yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that about you either. And so you're living in the mountains. Where are you skating in the mountains?
So there's
Because they actually had another prefab park in Idaho Springs, right?
yeah.
Off the highway.
But so in Granby, I lived. So it's 16 miles from Granby to Grand Lake, and that's where Jake lived.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Jake met immediately and just completely became best friends because we were the only two people that skateboarded.
Uh-huh.
But Granby was where the skate park was, so we'd hitchhike down the highway.
Holy shit,
to just
really?
go skate every day during the summer.
And it would happen?
Oh no, that was like totally normal in the mountains.
Oh yeah, no, definitely in the wintertime. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Like, but I didn't realize people were doing it in the.
Well, and like I mean, if you like miss the bus,
Oh, well, you're fucked.
like the school bus, you could just hitchhike, and chances are someone
beat the bus to school almost.
Yeah, and like most of the people that lived up there, if they see a kid hitchhiking, they're like, oh yeah, we'll pick him up, take him to school because he missed it. But they like knew what was going on, and there's like fucking bears and mountain lions, like
right.
you know?
And the communities are small. You probably
Yeah.
people know you. They recognize you like
For
as
sure.
you're walking. Like people like just know you, right?
Right. So it was never like an issue.
Never like sketchiness.
But
about
they
it.
had it was this park that basically had like everything that was perfect for like a training ground for it had like a foot high box and then like a foot high like 8 foot long flat bar that
Oh,
was
wow.
movable.
Like perfect.
So you could to learn board slides, we'd put the rail all the way up, so it was just like a little bit going off, and then slowly pull the rail out, and then you could do that with every trick. So you could like start really really small and then like slowly build
progress.
it up.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it had a mini ramp with a really steep transition, so it was kind of, like to like learn on that was difficult, but then once everything you learned on it, you could just go and do
Anywhere else. Yeah. And so at that point, like, how were you progressing? Like, were you getting good, or you were kind of just like flailing, or
No, I think I always sucked.
You.
I mean, I remember there was like a day where I like unlocked kickflips. And it was I think I did, and like I could do it on everything at the park, like over the pyramid, like from like just practicing them flat ground to just like I figured it out. But other than that, I didn't really like start pushing myself because I mean, me and Jake were on the same skill level.
Okay.
So you don't, unless you're skating with people that are better than you, it's really really difficult to progress.
Right. Definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I ever started actually getting good until I started skating with all the wet boys, basically.
Yeah. I think that's when that definitely unlocked a different level of skill when I was hanging out with you guys too. Just like a level of encouragement and like watching people, because it's like it was hard back in the day. You didn't have videos, like you didn't have like all of that, just accessibility to watching good people skate. You could see like the VHS videos whenever they came out, but
right. And that's also a completely different perspective of what it actually is.
Right. Yeah.
You see someone landing tricks and tricks. Like, if you see someone landing, all their tricks in a video part or whatever, you're like, oh my god, that was sick and cool. But until you see someone, like, battling for it,
right,
that it like, completely changes your perspective.
Definitely, for sure. And, yeah, so you met probably, like, Paul and Joe through Kim, and then you just obviously unlocked the whole squad, basically, right?
Well, we all just started hanging out with each other because of 113.
Right.
Our apartment behind
the skate shop.
It's Salmon Ridge. But yeah, like it just kind of worked out, like with me, like meeting like Sweets and Jared because they had hung out with Paul from like the Semantic Blockage days. And then so they all kind of skated together, and then we all realized that we were more alike than other skate crews, so right? We just, that's what birthed all the Wet Boys and all that stuff.
Yeah. And so you graduated, you guys, once Paul graduated and Joe graduated, you guys moved from behind Arvada to the first wet house in
the Applewood one, yeah.
That was actually right by the first Channel 3 on Youngfield.
And it was right when when 303 had opened. It was just after they opened the Mills shop.
Right, because you guys moved. You followed the shop basically.
Well, I ended up working at the mall one.
Right.
Like right when I got on the team,
Mm-hmm.
and then I also was like working the grip counter, which was the best job.
Yeah.
Like just hanging out and gripping boards.
Yeah.
And like getting shoes for people sometimes.
Just like bullshitting all day long. Like
Yeah.
talking to mall lurking chicks and.
Yeah, I mean I got 86 from that mall. I had to enter through the service entry. I couldn't like go out into the mall anymore.
Oh really? Why?
Because there was a double set in front of Target.
Oh yeah.
And when we closed, like someone dared me to go ollie it.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh yeah, cool. And went and ollied it, and then the security guards kicked me out. They're like, that's your warning, whatever.
Uh-huh.
And it was during the holidays, and Troy actually, Phillips, was we were working together, and we had just there was the big like square T-shirt, like counter table thing. It was like, I don't know, like 1.5 feet, 2 feet high, and it was just a big square with all the shirts folded on it.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, I was like, I think I could hippie jump it. And he's like, you can't hippie jump it. And he was like, it was this turn into this whole thing, and it was like, fine. And he got me to do it, and it was like holiday busy hours, and I started like back in the dressing room area to get enough speed. And hippie jumped it, landed on my board, and
shot the board
out
into the fucking mall.
into like Christmas time.
Oh fuck!
And it somehow went through so many people walking without ankle checking a single person until it went into the Puma store. And the manager was like down, like helping someone like try their shoes on or whatever. Just checked them so hard.
Oh no!
And it was like my board was all fucked up and like
It's
chipped
all
on the
chipped
nose. It was
and
like the
fucking
worst
splintery,
possible.
like fucking. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Then I had to go through the back.
That's crazy. That's fucking hilarious. And so, yeah, you're working at the mall and you're skating. This is about Fever era, right?
Yeah. That was right around then, yeah.
Yeah. And then you actually had, what? You had probably like 5 or 6 tricks in that video?
Yeah, it was like 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
I watched it on the Classic Colorado Skate Insta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he posted that.
Yeah, and what did you have? Like you had like the shove it board slide.
No, it was the. Oh wait, was those might have been in that video?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
so.
it was the pop shove it board slide and the 180 nose grind.
Yeah.
Oh, that was that. Then that video, yeah.
And then what else did you do in that?
But there was another video that I had like a crooked grind on that rail that David Reyes actually skated it the other day, or the last time he was in town filming for the 303 video. But it was like this weird parking lot rail that it was on like 92nd and something.
Is the Pecos rail?
Is it 92nd and Pecos?
Is it like the black one?
It's like next to Smoker Friendly or something
it's
like that.
It's like the black one that goes down the parking lot and like the shitty.
Yeah.
And it's got like the like posts up, like holding it, and it's like kind of wobbly.
Yeah, we just drove by it the other day, and I was like, oh, crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely had that. I can't remember what else. I don't know. Because I only ever had like a few in the 303 videos. I only had stuff in friend sections.
Right.
I never got my own part. I was never cool enough.
Right. I feel that.
Or I just didn't skate enough at that time.
Yeah, one of the two. But yeah, you made it to the original. What is that? Original VHS OG fucking 303 video. So that's awesome.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like thinking about like all like I want to know what happened to all my old VHSs. Honestly,
you don't have them anymore.
I want to say that they're somewhere at my mom's house.
Okay.
But I imagine she got rid of them a long time ago.
Oh, that's shitty. I still have all mine. The only ones I'm missing is PJ Ladd's Wonderful Horrible Life and the Mosaic.
Yeah, I think a lot of them too. I remember bringing a box over to one of the wet houses, and then like when we moved, like
forget it.
Like people just
forget it.
Yeah, like when everyone's partying or whatever,
Yeah,
someone just grab one and be like, "Oh, I want to watch this."
Yeah, that became everybody's property. Anything that stood there for a day or two became.
I mean, there was one point in time where my bedroom was the living room.
Yeah.
Zero privacy.
And that was a hilarious time at that house, bro. We're just always shenanigans, bro. Like
you just come home from work and you and Almanza would be like playing Snapper or whatever that shit, like practicing.
Right.
Or like throwing the dime in the top of the bottle game or whatever that was.
Just whatever fucking
whatever
dumb, whatever
weird.
stupid thing that we could think of, like waiting for you guys to come skate, and we'd be like, everyone would be hungover. Me and Josh would be over there hanging out, like waiting for everyone to skate. Cause I don't think either one of us were like drinking. I think I was like straight edge, like hanging out with the
Yeah,
wet-
you didn't
wet
drink,
boys.
but you'd hang out.
Yeah. And so it was kind of weird, like never drinking, just hanging out with you guys, all partying all the time, and we're like, dude, let's go skate. Everyone's hung over till 4 in the afternoon, and we're just hanging out, just like little punk kids, like trying to skate with the cool kids. And
I mean, we eventually got it going.
yeah, you killed it, bro.
I don't know. I feel like I filmed more clips with you and Josh and Monaco. Like when we were remember when we were like skating like skate church,
Yeah.
like all those weird spots around there. When I
Yeah.
like dropped in on that like weird like
Oh wait.
vent thing behind like a Home Depot or something like that.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, that was sketchy.
Yeah, those fun times hanging out, and yeah, just super into skating, and then it was cool hanging out with you guys back then. It was like, I'm really like grateful that you guys let me hang out, and that was super awesome for me. Like such a big influence on me growing up, and yeah.
I mean, you made it pretty easy to hang out with.
Oh, thanks,
You're a
man.
pretty likable guy.
Oh, thank you, thank you. But yeah, those are good times. The parties were super fun. Just hijinks over there, bro. Just like filthiness, just like everywhere you look, just like the filthiest place, bro.
I mean, yeah. I mean, even like through the mansion days, like when like right after I stopped skating, it was still like always living in party houses and trying to figure out how to like go skating within that environment. Like especially at one point when we moved to Fourth and Inca, we'd go like light up a spot and get home at 3 a.m. and people are like raging at the house.
Yeah.
And we're trying to like get up and go skate the next day, but then it's like, fuck.
And
I
it
want
was,
to hang out.
Yeah, and
Let's play some dice.
and it was sick though, because doors were never locked. Like you didn't know who was gonna be there.
No.
You just pop in and you're like, oh. Sometimes I'll be at the wet house by myself, and I'm like, this is cool. Like I'm just hanging out here. There's nobody
Well,
here.
I think that like it worked out with the culture of like the reason why skateboarders have always been gravitating towards one another, and because a lot of them come from a place where they don't want to be.
Definitely.
And that's, I'm not saying like like obviously I've met your family and
Right.
like knowing that like you can have a regular like at home life,
Yeah.
but most people still don't want to be in that, and then you start hanging out with all these like-minded people who are all like into the same shit, the same music, same movies, like everything.
Yeah.
And then so all of our houses ended up becoming just like a like home for wayward children.
Yeah. It's like straight up like some Peter Pan shit, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's just like just the fucking Lost Boys, bro. And it's basically almost exactly like that. You know what I mean? In a lot more ways than we probably are wanting to admit, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like it at Applewood House, like for example, like because the girl Paul was dating at the time, she worked at Cinnabon in the mall, and so she'd just bring Leslie, yeah, so she'd bring just boxes of Cinnabons over, but we all got sick of them, and Joe Ramirez came over one day, and they were like, I didn't know how long they were in the fridge for, and he was like, what's up with these? And I was like, I don't know, eat at your own risk type of deal. And then he got super, super sick.
Oh, shit.
And then, like, a normal person in that would have seen that and thrown those away, but I didn't.
Uh-huh.
And then Lucas Baumgartner comes over and he's like, what's up with these Cinnabons? And I was
Oh,
like,
shit.
I mean, like, Joe just ate one and got real ass sick. So I wouldn't, he just like kind of sits there and looks at me and he's like, Joe's a fucking pussy. And he was fine.
He was fine. He was right all along. That was crazy too, because I feel like it would be like once a week somebody would drop off like a tray of some fucked up food from somewhere, and you're like,
I guess that's what I'm eating for the week.
Yeah, and here's this tray of fucking like mini tacos that came from who knows where, that have been around for who knows long.
The best was when Paul worked at
the catering place, right?
Well, not the catering place. When he worked at the bowling alley.
The bowling alley was the
because
best.
we could wake up in the summer and it'd be 100 degrees out. No one wants to go skating when it's 100 degrees out. So we'd go to this dope air-conditioned bowling alley and eat like green chili burritos.
Yes, dude, I remember
for free because he
Paul
worked
just
the kitchen.
working on the grill, just like here, just fucking bust you out some.
And then like, what lane
burrito.
do you guys want to be on? And get us free bowling and just sit and bowl and then go skating after he got off of work at like 4 once it cooled down a little bit.
And needless to say, that bowling alley went out of business. That could only last so long, right?
Everyone coming in trying to like be serious about bowling, and we're just being assholes the whole time.
Right. And just eating free food and not paying for anything.
Yeah.
So, and that was kind of the trend. Like, anybody who had a job was like always just exploiting the fuck out of whoever they were working for.
I mean, that carried on to when everyone turned 21 and started getting bartending jobs and stuff like that, or like even when I worked at Two Fisted forever. And, like,
I forgot that you
hooked everybody up
with
with pizza.
Yeah. And that was always cool too, because you're downtown and like bars are out, like, oh, let's go see Reilly, and you're always there just making pizza, always super busy, so never had time to even like chat with you or anything like that.
Yeah, it was a lot of, what do you want?
yeah, you like almost at a point where you like didn't care who was there because you knew everybody at that point in town, and you just can't like sit and fucking like bullshit with anybody at that spot. So it's like, oh, let's go say hi to Reilly. Like,
well, no, and then I mean, like, even with bartending though too, because I knew everybody from skateboarding, and like, you know, also like when I got into like the metal and like punk rock scene, and like kind of bridged that gap with like all these musicians and stuff and skateboarders, and kind of was like the guy who knew people from both like groups of people. Then it turned into everyone coming in, and when I'm busy like bartending, it's just easier to be like, what do you want? Here. Don't pay me. Just leave me alone.
Just
like,
let me do my job, right? Yeah. And I feel that way when I'm coming into your bar now, and I want to chat with you, but I know you're busy and just kind of lurk around. But it's sick to see like the progression of where you come from, you know, where we all came from, and just, you know, watching you like excel and like really like capitalize on your image and your you know, what you've accomplished, and like just your network, and just like exploiting your talents and skills like in a really successful way.
I think deciding to open bars, I mean, after bartending forever too, and being a part of that culture, then being like, oh, I want to open my own bar, was kind of based around not only like knowing people and everything like that, but also, you know, I remember like one time we used to have those crazy Halloween parties.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like the next day, and I was cleaning up, and I was like, you know, like, I just need to open a bar and just have people party at the bar instead of my house.
Yes. Yeah. Right. And it just made sense, right? And that was the same thing with like my arcade, right? It's just like, it just makes sense. It's already just in what you're doing. Like, how could I turn it into something where it's actually practical, and it's not just something that is not doing anything for myself? Like, how could I pivot and make it?
But that's the thing, is like, if I have a party every single night at my house, no one's going to be like, proud of you, dude.
Right.
But as soon as I open a bar and I'm having a party every night at my bar,
good job.
So proud of you, man.
Good job, buddy.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it is the same thing. But like I said, it's like, it's the difference between monetizing your passion and just letting your passion take you down.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the only alternative if you would have been on that route of just partying at your house all the time.
I mean, and you can even see that in the skateboard world too, where you see all these skaters coming up, and you know, you can only it's already hard enough to become pro because of it's, you know, the popularity contest, how good you have to be. Now they judge you on how many followers you have and your online presence and all this crazy stuff that you would never think about. But then you only have, you know, maybe up till like 26 of like your really good skateboarding years until you start to fall off. And if you want to stay in skateboarding, you either have to like start your own company or get like a dope like team manager job or like something within
the industry,
realm,
right?
You know?
Or go pack orders in the warehouse at Deluxe or some shit like
right.
that.
Or you fucking or you fall off and start whatever, like a construction business.
Yeah, right, exactly. And it's like, there's only certain routes, because there's only certain practical marketable skills you can get from spending your whole childhood and a majority of your young
like
adulthood
completely streamlining in one thing.
skateboarding, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like you either make it or you spent a lot of time on an unmarketable
Yeah, like
skill.
I dropped out of college so I could skateboard with my friends
Yeah,
because college was getting in the way of skateboarding.
right, exactly. And that was actually cool because you went to see you. My girlfriend at that time was going to see you. Kim was going to see you. Mm-hmm. And so we're like those Boulder times were actually pretty sick. And you were like hanging out. You were skating for Satellite back then.
Yeah, so I ended up moving in with JG, and I was skating for 303, but I was like living with the owner of Satellite, so it was kind of like, oh, I guess we'll just switch. But those guys are all fun. Like, I met so many good skateboarders and guys up there, like like Brownlee and then like Yabo and Katz and that whole crew.
Right, right.
Who
Nick was at CU too, and you guys were roommates.
No.
Who was roommates with Nick? I forgot.
Andy Schneider.
Okay.
But yeah, they lived in the same
Building,
the same floor. Like, they were like 3 dorms down or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick. He was bombing that hill, like going down to our dorms. And so I was coming back from class, and I just see like an ambulance. And
shit!
That like orange hat that he always wore was like on the ground with a bunch of blood and stuff.
No.
And I was like, "What happened?"
No. That's brutal.
Yeah, he just got hit by a car, and he was fine.
Yeah.
He got a little banged up. But.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I mean, those were good times. Like, I would go up there and like wait for my girlfriend to get out of class, whatever, and we'd like skate under like there's like a little spot you could skate in between your like outside of your building. There was like a overhang. We'd skate flat ground or something.
Yeah, that was the flat ground spot, and then there was the 2-3 stairs that were like at the engineering building.
Right.
They were pretty mellow, but they had just like really weird cracks.
Yeah, this cracks in Boulder are just fucking ridiculous, bro. It's like,
yeah.
It seems like it'd be really fun to skate on that campus, but it actually sucks kind of bad.
Well, that's like the 14 stair rail. It was like even when it was bondoed, it was still sketchy, and it was big enough that it was like I board slid it, but I wanted to do other stuff, and Frisbee tried to back lip it, and just caught his back foot on the top and like basically went from the top like onto his head.
Oh my god!
And I'm like gonna try like a crooked grind or something next, and I like
so
saw him just fly down, and I was like, no, I'm done.
You're so
today.
stoked on it after that. And then you didn't have a full part in any of the Satellite videos?
I had a shared part with JG, and then we were filming for another video, and so I was like and this is like the peak of me skating. I got a bunch of clips, and I had a full part ready, and then they decided they weren't going to do the video, and they were going to switch to the Ride With Us, and then just do an end of the summer Ride With Us video.
Okay.
So I just kind of like got burnt out and didn't want to film anymore.
I see.
And
then you had a full part in the Wet Boys video, right?
Yeah.
That part was actually really fucking sick.
It was just like half of it was slams. I was happy with it. But
yeah, that's tight though.
I fell down a lot.
Yeah. And then also let's hear the Jamie Thomas story, bro.
Which one?
All
the kickflip front board.
Tell me your encounters with Jamie Thomas, bro.
So I mean, like, this was just I was showing them around, and I was, we went to I forget which rail it was. It was like this 9-stair rail, and I kickflip front boarded it, and when I landed, I put my hand down, which like that's fine for me, right? And he's like, "Do it again."
Do it again.
I was like, "No, give me that footage. I have my camera in the car. We can transfer it right now." And he's like, "I'm not giving it to you until you do it. Like, and don't touch your hand." And I was like, "No, that was really scary. Like, I don't want to do that again." And he's like, "Well, you're not getting your footage then." And I was like, "Well, I suddenly forgot where every spot in Colorado is."
Best, dude.
Have a good time.
Did he? Well, then what did he do? You just like.
I got it eventually.
Oh, you got it from him?
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. So you're like showing him around to spots and shit, or
yeah.
And it was copacetic with him, or after that, or before?
No, I mean it's whatever. Like, I didn't have that many. I've never had that many good encounters with professional skateboarders, and maybe it was just me at the time. Like maybe it was my ego or whatever. But I mean, even like we rolled up to skate DTC ledges, and Steve Barra and Heath Kirchart were there, and Heath Kirchart's going through this like insane like mad
Hockey
Yeah.
hockey guy.
and I had like as I wanted to kick 50 it,
Mhm.
and I had practiced for like
Backside or
backside. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it was before. Did Nathan Fantasia do that?
I think so.
Yeah, he did. But we go, and I was like ready to go, and I had like Mike Gilbert was there, like he was like and we pull up, and Keith Kershaw started skating it, and I was like, hey, like, do you mind if I? And I think I was even like getting flow from America at this point.
That's crazy.
And I was like,
But your team member.
yeah, man. And he like wouldn't talk to me. Steve Barrett came up and was like, yeah, no,
That's
like
crazy.
you can't skate it. And I
Dude,
was
I
like,
would
are
say-
you kidding me?
Dude, get fucked, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing to say to like locals at a spot
Right.
that you're at from out of state.
Yeah.
Like, get fucked, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, Jimmy Thomas, like I'm sure he's a fine person, but I never had a good interaction with him.
That's crazy.
He's always but that was when he was in like,
Freaking dying to live era. Like,
Yeah, like, the most intense
maxing
dude.
out version
Yeah.
of Jamie Thomas.
completely changed Chris Cole's style.
Yeah. What did you lose his suitcase or something like that? Like shipped.
Is that what happened?
That was the rumor that I heard, that they're going on a trip or something, and like Chris Cole had all of his gear like packed in his suitcase, and Thomas sent his whole suitcase somewhere else or something.
Oh,
like
and
that.
then was like, oh, I guess you have to
Yeah.
wear leather wristbands.
Right, yeah, studded belts. Right.
I used to wear studded belt skating. What a
I
terrible time.
always wanted to, but I never got one. Actually, maybe I stole one of my sister's. I think that sounds like what I did. I stole a lot of my sister's clothes in those days.
I just used to steal a lot from Hot Topic in Westminster Mall.
Yeah. Will, do we have a break, commercial break soon, or
What's that?
is commercial break soon, or
Yeah, I can run a commercial break anytime.
yeah, run one real quick. I need to go to the bathroom.
Cool.
Sorry.
You're good.
I tried to taste like 3 times before we started, but
Our subscribers are still seeing you, so they don't see commercials.
Sure.
So, anything else offhand? Any one-off stories?
I mean, not that I can really think of. Trying to think. The only other fun pro story was when we had we lived in the wet house on 14th and Humboldt. In the compound, we had 2 houses together, and for King of the Road, somehow, I mean, we were like a bunch of dingy like trash kids, like, and we all skated for like whatever, like the obvious, like America and Vans and like Foundation and all these stuff, all that, and Natural Concept and everything like that, and somehow they picked the Dark Star team to like set up a slip and slide in our backyard with all the wet boys and all this shit, and they're like, so it's like, and like they were all the chillest dudes, but that like caught me off guard when they just like showed up and were like, we're supposed to like do a DIY slip and slide in your backyard, and we're like, oh, okay. And like a bunch of the other teams that were on that year, like, 'cause that was when I was skating for America, so I'm pretty sure they had a team on it, that one, and then I forget, I think Paul was skating for Audio, and Audio had a team on it, so they were like, like they had like, we were like little sleeper agents, like trying to like sneak like stickers onto stuff, like whatever the challenge was and everything. It was fun.
yeah, that was sick. You guys got some sick sponsors. I remember just like being so jealous of you guys, like when I was a kid, like skating with you and just like never being at that level and just watching you guys rip. I'm like, damn, these guys are so fucking
Well, I mean,
sick.
again, it's like a popularity thing, like back in the, I'm sure it's the same now, but back then it was like, and I think a lot of it for me is like when Angel started really coming up and Davis really started coming up, they were like, you could definitely tell that there was like, if I was like, oh, I want to like skate for this company or whatever, like, Angel was saying something, or like, yeah, you should hook him up.
Yeah. That was sick though, because I would always get like the I would get the hand-me-downs, like from like the third hand, like you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Of like the third hand hookups, basically. So I was blessed in that regard. You guys
Well, that
would
was
always get
that was
some-
also tight too. Was when I was like, I remember one time I was between sponsors and Angel was staying at the house, and I was working, and I'd get home and he'd just gotten his like ridiculous box.
oh from Circa or
I think it was when he it was when he just started for Vans and
oh that was that later, way
Uh,
later.
in Foundation. So he'd like at the first of the month he'd get like 10 pairs of shoes, 15 pairs of shoes or something like that,
Uh-huh.
like 30 boards.
Yeah,
And so he'd be like, "Cool, $5, 10, like like whatever, like." And I actually had money to
Right,
spend.
yeah,
so, like,
right.
so I just like constantly get setups from him, pretty much.
yeah, yeah. That's amazing. It's amazing to be like in those circles where everyone else wants to be. You know what I mean? Especially at that time, like you said, now it's different. It's like anybody can start their own company. Anybody can get hooked up, and it's not. I don't feel like it's all. It's not the same. Like I don't feel like you see like crews like there was, especially in this town. Like the crews were so thick.
I mean,
bro,
I think
back
it's.
in
I
our
just
day.
think it's a little different now. Like I see all the 303 guys out, occasionally at like the Crypt, and stuff like that. And it's still they still have their like core group of homies still like on the pool table, just like we were, you know. And then seeing like how like 303 is still 303. Like
right.
they're always gonna have a super solid crew. Their videos are gonna be filmed so well,
Right.
and edited super well. Like Sam's always had a good eye for that kind of stuff.
Right.
But yeah, like seeing them like film for the new video and everything like that, and like talking to David a little bit about it. It's like it still seems to be the same core of like like the values and stuff that we had and like our drive and everything like that. I don't think that that's really changed. It's just, probably now it's less clicky than it was.
Yeah.
Because like then it was, that 303 kids, Denver Shop kids, God Squad, like, and I mean like
Chevy crew.
yeah, and so Wet Boys, everything like
Right.
that, and then that's why Way of the Warriors was so successful.
You're right,
It's because it was like they were like, oh,
the
Mark was like, yeah, there's all these different crews.
the
Let's just have a
advocate-
contest.
Advocate crew and
Yeah.
yeah, that was. I feel like that was so freaking awesome, dude. Like that era was so much fun. That's like why I'm so happy to like have this podcast and like so far been so blessed with people coming on, and the show is just like just get to like relive a little bit of those times because it was just so much fun. You know what I mean? For me it was. I don't know. I think
No,
you had
yeah.
had more fun than I did. You know
Had a
what I
little
mean?
too much fun.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, it's great. And then Arizona was kind of a huge part of like Wet Boys. Like
Yeah, I mean that's because Jared went down, and then met Styles and Naughty and Tall Can, Chad, Twig, Brandon Steed, all those guys, and Johnny Tsunami. But they start, like they went down. Him and Micah went down one winter, and then met all them, and then all of them came up that summer, and then we all just became like brothers.
right,
And then so it ended up every winter I'd started going down with them. And
right. And that was one
doing that
trip.
whole thing too.
We went down there together. One trip. We were there in. Were we in there at the same time? Me and Angel and Trevor.
You guys got down there after I got down there because I went down with
You were-
the Ari.
Right, you were there, but we were there together. Like
But yeah, it was the same time. Yeah.
yeah, at the same time, right? And Twig, and we all cruised down there, and we stayed for a while, and that was great. Like, I wish I would have stayed there a little longer, honestly, but we were going to Cali.
I mean, it was pretty awesome though. Like, because especially when I was like 20 or something like that, and we used to go to the Safeway that was right there and just like get like fruit and like whatever to eat for breakfast and like a Gatorade. And all the ASU chicks, because it was right across from
Right,
campus,
right.
would be going in there, and so we'd just like sit out front and be like, "Hey, what's up? You want to come to our pool? Hey, what's up? You want to come to our pool?"
Just spamming, spamming party invites. That was okay. Yeah, we were definitely there together because I remember you filmed. There was that was that parking lot because they had the little like 4 or 5 stair or something right there.
Oh, like in the parking lot of the
Yeah,
the
of the King Supers or something.
yeah.
Yeah, because I remember.
Yeah, it had that manual pad to force
manual,
there.
yeah.
And then there was another manual pad before that.
Right. And I remember I was like, "Hey, Riley, film this," and I fucking like nollie cabbed up the curb, and I was like trying to switch 180 down the stairs, and like premoed and like just fucking like.
Oh God, you got so wrecked.
Got like smacked my head all stupid, like film this and just get wrecked. I think that was the only like clip that I got the entire trip there, or we skated at night at those blue banks.
The blue banks were so fun.
Yeah, super fun. And then Lizard was there staying at that house that we were staying at that time, and I kind of feel stupid because I was like super straight edge and like was like super afraid of like getting in trouble with like drugs and shit back then, and like we're driving to or from some spot, and like Lizard's sitting in the back of my car, and he like starts like smoking a bowl in the back. I'm like, please don't do that. Like, just like thinking about how cringe that was, like trying to tell Lizard King not to smoke weed in the back of my car, and he just looked at me like I was just such a fucking loser, bro. I just remembered like just the hope.
Yeah, he was he couldn't come into Denver for a while because he was that house that me and Styles lived at right behind Rock Bar. He was staying on our couch, and at some point in the night we lost track of him, and I was like, oh, he's probably at home, and then he wasn't there, and we're like, where the fuck is he? And he like his phone was off and everything. He just walked into some random house, like
Oh shit.
someone else's house, and crashed out on their couch and like woke up to the cops.
Oh fuck, that's scary. That could go so bad.
Dude, that could go very bad, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure he like didn't show up to his court shit and was trying to wait for it to get expunged, and then ended up like 7 years later. He like comes into Matchbox, like, "What's up, dude?" I was like, "What are you doing here?"
That's hilarious. And then so you're working at Two Fisted, and then you started getting into bartending. Like, how did that transition?
I quit Two Fisted for another job that didn't work out, and then selling weed for a little while, as you do, and then ended up managing, and then because I'd managed there, it just worked out. Shag Lounge, Charlie Cox got in a fight and messed up his head, and they needed a manager, and I did a guest bartending shift at Bar, and Stephen J, the owner, like came in and saw how many people were in there, and I was just like cruising. He saw like a bartender, and he was like, "All right, yeah, you're now the manager of my bar, and you get the 2 busiest nights each week to work."
Wow.
And then
That was a huge upgrade
that.
then, right?
I mean, yeah, like for money and stability,
Right.
not for my mental health.
So you decided to like expound on that, right? Into
Well,
like infinity.
I think that's like, but that's where I decided that I was never gonna manage anywhere ever again unless I owned it.
Right.
And just learning what not to do from multiple owners that I'd worked for in multiple different places, being like, okay, well, I know what not to do, so I'm just gonna work. And I had worked at Matchbox and High Dive and Lost Lake and Squire and everything forever, and saved up money, and then timing worked out, and we just did it. And now, opening our 4th bar.
Yeah. And you have partners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would never do that alone.
Right. But like 715, like it's pretty much just you pretty much just are there all the time. That's pretty much kind of like your.
I mean, it's my main one, and it's right next to my house.
Oh yeah.
But I'm still at the other places, and like I'm at Marigold a lot too because it's right across the street.
Right.
Gold Point, I'm at a lot, but like that's not like where I close out my night, right?
Yeah.
Like I'll go and hang out and like eat some food and have a couple drinks.
Oh, they serve
and hang
food
out.
there?
Yeah, it's Cattywampus. It's so good.
Oh really?
Highly recommend. They do
Okay.
a crunch wrap.
Uh-huh.
That's the best crunch wrap that
Oh,
you
really?
can have. Yeah, they did like a whole like for their anniversary party. They did like a McRib, like like all the best
the best fast food shit. That's
they just
awesome.
did like a good version of it.
But that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so fucking sick. And then so at this time you're bartending, you're working at Shag. Did you work at Tarantula too? Or am I tripping?
No,
You were
no.
you just hang out there, play pool.
Yeah, I
right?
just go play pool.
Okay, so you're working at Shag, but then you also were living East Colfax?
Yeah, that was when I was
By the Ogden, right?
Yeah, at the mansion.
Right. And then you had
Or that was across from the Bluebird.
right, Bluebird. And you had a fucking arcade in your fucking house. Like
Yeah.
that was crazy. Like I remember I didn't see you for a while, and then I ended up at your house and you have a full ass like fully functioning fucking arcade in your house. How many games did you have then?
I think we peaked at 27 games.
That's amazing, dude.
It was just the whole first floor of the house.
Yeah.
It was just that.
And that's crazy. That's so much weight in a in a residential
Dude.
house plus everyone partying. That's
There were times where I was like, this house might fall apart.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this isn't there were like you. It was shoulder to shoulder for 3 floors of the house,
Right.
Plus all the arcades,
Right.
And then at one point, like we had my roommate Ben Hoops, his band was playing
Oh man.
like in his room.
that's crazy.
Like they like put his mattress up on the wall and he like played. And I was downstairs under his room, like in the arcade, and I was just looking at the ceiling,
just
like
crumbling.
I was like, "This is not good." Hey, everybody, you shouldn't stand in this room.
So scary, bro. And like you see those fucking houses falling apart nowadays, like on fucking
Oh yeah, you see videos.
videos.
Of,
You're like,
a
bro,
whole floor caving in.
yeah, that shit happens, bro.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, I don't know how it fucking didn't, because that's
Honestly, if you think about how the weight distribution works, if you have all the arcades
up against.
up like in the corner, and like how the
But you
support
had
beams going
games
across,
in the
like-
middle of the fucking floor.
Well, sorta. It was like in that little outlet. It was still a corner though, where there's going to be support beams that are connected to it.
Okay, you guys were actually thinking about it.
Well, I am now in real time.
Retrospectively, remembering.
But maybe having the weight on the sides like that
coincidences.
helped the center because
Yeah.
it added more like
Oh,
pressure on where- on the
counterbalance. So it's
joist,
like
you know?
yeah, so it's bubbling
Yeah.
it up.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so we're totally engineers, and
Yeah, everyone was fine. Everyone was safe.
yeah, everyone survived. And so, like, how did you get all those games? Just on Craigslist, or
Yeah, 100% Craigslist.
yeah? And what is your first game that you got?
Oh man, I think it was Mortal Kombat 2.
And it was just because
I
you
wanted
love that
Mortal
you
Kombat
always
2.
wanted Mortal Kombat 2, and you're like, oh shit, I've got this now. I just
Yeah,
once you get one, you just can't just have one.
Well, and we were
right?
talking about opening an arcade bar before anything else happened, so I was just stockpiling for that. And then yeah, once you start looking every day, I'm sure you
Yeah.
do the same thing.
Of course.
Where you just search arcade cabinet
Mm-hmm.
and you'll see a bunch that are like 1,200, 1,400, whatever.
Right.
But every now and then
$200.
you'll see someone who's like $200 and or it's like doesn't work or whatever, and
Right.
then you go and you look and it's
And you-
like a fuse
Or a
what-
power supply.
there-
Or
yeah,
something-
exactly. And you're like,
something so
yeah,
simple.
here's $200.
Yeah, for sure. But those days are over.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
And how you were
100%.
picking up games for fucking dirt cheap back then, right? What was the
I
cheapest
got-
game that you got?
I got let's see, it was what was it called? Black Tiger, which was this weird RPG game. It was really fun. And then an asteroid machine, like a stand-up one,
Uh-huh.
and then Defender, and one other one that I can't remember, maybe Golden Axe.
Uh-huh.
But all 4 of them, I picked them up in Granby
Uh-huh.
for $50
For 4.
for 4. I just had to rent a truck and drive up there and put them in and come back down.
That's like $10 a fucking game.
Dude, like, and then looking up like that Black Tiger one, it was like even then it was worth like $2,500 or something.
That's
like
amazing. Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just they, had to get rid of them.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, Craigslist is a godsend, bro. Like I built my whole career off of Craigslist and garage sales, bro. Like people talk shit on the internet, like, oh, you can just go out garage sales. It's not a fucking joke, dude. Like
You can find so much. Estate sales are really good too.
they are, but it's no joke, dude. If you're like determined and you're just like, I'm gonna make something happen, and I know a little bit more than the market does about whatever XYZ that you actually have a little bit of knowledge of, you can do just what we did. Like,
Well, and it's also like that translates from growing up skateboarding too, where you can sit and try a trick for hours and hours and hours, days, months, sometimes years.
exactly.
Fail over and over and over
Yep.
and over and over and over again, but then you land it.
Yeah, and that's
And you're like, oh, got it.
That's
and then it's like
literally
in your Rolodex of tricks,
right,
right?
and
then,
you almost forget about it. You know what I mean? It's
so. But then with like something like looking for arcades on Craigslist, stuff like that, you'll look every day, nothing, and then it'll hit,
yep.
and you'll like get a couple, and you'll be like, all that time was worth it.
Yep. Yeah. And exactly. That's why I like another thing that I really like about this podcast, especially being like on, this is a video game channel that has very little to do with skateboarding, but to get an insight for people that aren't exposed to skateboarding to understand that mindset of like that determination, like pushing through pain and risk and reward and failure and being able to
Sure.
to try again and stuff like those are like core, like we were talking about, like you don't have any core marketable skills like spending that much time skateboarding, but you have the ultimate life skill. The ultimate life skills by spending all the time skateboarding.
It's because I know how to fail.
You know how to fail and you're not afraid. You're not
Like,
afraid of it. You know what I mean?
I don't. If I bail, and it's on me.
Right.
I'm the one who has to pick myself up and either keep going straight forward until I do what I want to do, or give up.
Right.
Right.
But then there's like
And-
learning the discipline, right? Of like, I can do this and I'm not going to try something ridiculous, right? I'm not going to take my skateboard off something ridiculous.
Yeah,
right?
just because I can kickflip front board a 6-stair rail doesn't mean I could go to a 20-stair rail and do a kickflip front board. Like, it's not the same thing.
Right. But you could probably do a 12 stair, you know
But
what I mean?
yeah, I could push it a little more.
Right.
Right. I mean, and that's what you do.
Right. And that's life though. It's like people in our culture, like other cultures, like that's what I feel like that's why Japanese skaters nowadays are so sick, because that learning through failure is such a part of that culture of not being
Sure.
not being you're not going to get shamed by your peers when you fail like you do here. Like you're going to get encouraged. They're going to encourage you to try and to like.
They also have like skateboard high schools now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, or full, like, pretty sure it's like full, like the equivalent of K through 12, but like a 30-year day at school is skateboarding.
That's crazy. Yeah, and I mean, I regret not ditching school to go skateboard. I never did that. I'm like, dude, you should have ditched every fucking day of school.
I ditched the maximum amount of days my junior and senior year.
Really, I didn't ditch.
Like, to where if I lost one more day, I would not be able to graduate.
Yeah.
But like to the point where like even if like I couldn't call in sick.
Right.
Like if I was sick, I still had to go to school.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was such a square, dude. I didn't even ditch on ditch day. Like I was like at school on ditch day, like me and like 3 other nerds, like only ones there.
Well, no, I get calls from Paul like when it was like I was on lunch break, and he'd be like, "Hey, we're gonna go film at this spot right now. Like Millhouse is meeting up. Let's go." And I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm not going back to school. I want to do that."
Yeah. I totally regret not doing that, because I could have done that, especially because I mean, that's what I wanted to be doing. I would go and hang out at the wet house on my lunch break, and then go back to school. I got a speeding ticket driving to the wet house on my lunch break, and I'm like, fuck, you know what I mean? But I was like, went back to school like a nerd, bro, and I didn't. The thing was, I wasn't even trying hard at school. Like I don't know why I felt like I needed to fuck with high school, dude. It didn't do anything for me.
Well, I think that was the like weird. I think there's two kinds of skateboarders. The ones that are like, we'll stay in school and not ditch or whatever, and that's the same as like trying to be strategic about when to go hit up a spot and when not to go hit up a spot.
Yeah.
And then like near, I was always like, fuck it, I don't care if there's security, I can do it first try.
Right.
And of course I couldn't.
Right. Yeah. I think I just did
so many trespassing tickets.
Yeah, I think I just didn't want to stress my parents out or like bum them out. It's like because like there's back then especially there was that element of like, dude, if you go skating, you are probably gonna get encounters with police. You know what I mean? If I get a ticket for skateboarding, it's like that's all I was doing.
Dude, I don't know if I ever told you that the skate church saved my ass so many times, because if I got a trespassing ticket, I could like go and build a ramp or a feature.
Oh,
or whatever
for community service.
for my community service, and it could take me like 5 hours to build it, and he'd write off like 100 hours.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he did the same thing with Troy when.
Oh yeah, because Troy built
'Cause
that
he
whole
had-
skate
yeah,
park because he had the
exactly.
DUI, right?
Yeah, that's what that he did, and so I just went and helped him a little bit and got all my shit.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
That's great. And so.
and then I had to go pray. Such a stupid concept, dude.
I mean, not really. I mean, they built a skate park for us to go skate.
I listened to a lot of God talk because of that,
Right.
so I guess it worked.
Yeah, I mean, there's worse things that they could be doing with their money than giving.
Yeah, at least it
people-
was something for the community and for a place for kids to hang out.
Yeah.
And like have fun after school that was like semi-supervised, you know?
Right.
Because there used to be like real little kids there
Yeah.
without parents.
Right.
They were like a part of the church or whatever.
Right. So I mean, and it's super popular. Skate churches are everywhere, right?
Is that a thing now?
I think it's always been. I think they had that like they had like a whole I think they had a whole like King of the Hill episode about a skate church, like
Wait,
skate
really?
church preacher. I almost positive.
There, I mean
remember
that tracks. That's a pretty easy King of the Hill episode,
right? I'm pretty sure there was a King of the Hill episode where they're like at a skate church, but so that's rad. And then yeah, and then so yeah, let's talk more about your business and stuff because I think that's ultimately like I think I've mentioned on this podcast before how I wanted to have. Do you want another water?
No, I'm fine.
I wanted to have. I was kind of torn about making like a skate specific podcast and then having like an entrepreneurs podcast.
Sure.
And I want to do like a poker podcast, and I also wanted to do like a actual video game focused podcast
Yeah.
as well. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to just have just a kind of general podcast or if I wanted to make like multiple specific podcasts. But like I'm really fascinated like talking with entrepreneurs and like
Sure.
and like the process and like you said like skateboarding is a huge influence like especially for me like I would never have thought that I was capable of doing something like this if I didn't know what success was through skateboarding because I didn't achieve anything. I never achieved anything like through school or like sports or anything. My only achievement was my own personal validation that I got from my own
Right.
skateboarding, right?
Right.
And so like that was a huge influence and like so I'm like interested to hear like your perspective on that kind of theme.
Well, no, just kind of like what I was saying is, like having an idea or vision of what you want to do, like whether it's opening an arcade or opening a bar or starting your own. I was talking shit earlier, but like if you're starting your own construction company and stuff like that, like these are like real risks to take, right? But knowing that if you like can focus on it and make it what you want over time, is just, I mean, luckily 715, what we had like lightning in a bottle the first couple years, and it really bolstered my confidence to like, oh, I can do this. Like, and I lean a lot on my business partners. I mean, we all bring our, what our skill sets are, where I'm more the like, everyone jokes that I'm like HR or whatever. But like I'm more like focused on the employee side of things, as well as like just general operations. And I'm the one that's always around at night, and I'm like the late night guy. But then my other business partners, they handle like payroll, like taxes, and make sure our accountants have all the information that they need and like all that stuff that I'm horrible at. And of course, they're obscenely smart and come up with great ideas. So I think that all of us collectively, like finding each other and doing and being able to take on like portion of the risk. Like I'm so thankful and fortunate that I was in the right spot in my life where it just worked out. Where like one of my business partners already owned 2 bars that I worked at.
Okay. So like who are your partners? Like I don't mean you don't have to go like.
I mean, there's a lot, but in 715, Sudir and Corey, and then Gold Points them and plus Colin, and then Marigold is a bunch of people.
And how did you? So you 715 is the first one you opened.
Yeah. And
so how did you meet your partners?
So I actually poached Corey from Larimer Lounge because I wanted him to manage. And because I didn't want to manage.
He was just a bartender?
He was the manager.
Oh, he was the manager.
Or no, I think he might. I don't know. I think he was only a manager for a little bit. He's actually a door guy.
Oh, okay.
But he'd just been coming around, and I really liked him, and he's like a good dude. And I was like, he'd be perfect manager. So we poached him, and Sudi was the main owner there, like the guy that was like more hands on than the other 2 owners.
Of Larimer Lounge.
No, of Matchbox.
Of Matchbox.
And then I got a loan to open my own bar, and I started looking around by myself, and then Sudi was basically like, I want to go in on it with you. Let's find something. And then I was already there, and had talked to Corey about it before, and I was like, yeah, come on, like let's go.
Can I ask you how much you took out?
The loan was for $100,000.
Oh shit! How did you build credit to get that loan?
Oh, it was a personal loan.
Right. So
just found someone that.
Oh, you had a personal.
Yeah.
So I had loan. You had a personal backer.
Yeah,
it was
I had
a bank loan.
X amount of money that it was just my bank account that I was putting all of it into. And then I just needed the extra 100,000 basically.
Okay.
And luckily got a pretty good deal with it, and it worked out. I paid it back.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
No one's coming for me.
How long did that take to pay that out?
It would have been faster, but COVID happened.
Oh, right.
So it was actually only recently that I finally got it all done.
Okay.
Yeah. But
And you were paying interest, or was high?
I mean,
interest? Or do you
still
paid some juice, or
no? So it was my stepdad.
okay.
So I still the part of the interest is I send them money like every month basically. That's a percentage of what I'm currently making, and that's more for like. It's not like the best deal. Like I probably could have got a better deal.
Right.
Like if I went through a bank.
But
it's a peace of mind knowing that like I'm helping
you're
them
helping
in their
them.
retirement. Like
Right.
you know, even if I'm if
it's
even
your
if I
family.
know
It's
I'm, like,
the money's staying in the family.
yeah, and I'm
So-
putting money into their gas tanks so they can go on
So it's
trips in our RV and
it's a
stuff.
great deal.
Like,
It's
it feels good.
It's a perfect deal.
Yeah,
Ultimately.
I'd rather do that
than give it to
a
the
bank.
fucking bank.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Like I'd much rather it go to my family.
So that's amazing. That's amazing. And like so many people, like I feel like for me, for my business, none of this would exist if I didn't have help. I haven't really taken out like big loans. I have a little bit. I have some debt, but like a minuscule amount. It's not even close to $100,000. And I borrowed I think 15 grand to open this arcade.
Yeah,
You know, and it's
That's
like
reasonable.
it's like it's not that much. Like if I can pay that off in a year if I just bust my ass like working another job. But if my family wasn't there for me, dude, none of this place would exist. Like I needed my family to help me do this. Like I would never have the confidence to even try something like this if I didn't have like a solid support system that I have. And
Well, and it's even like to add on to that too. Even with all of our employees that we opened up with, you know, I was fortunate enough to be able to basically cherry pick whoever I wanted
Right.
in Denver that I had worked with previously, and was like, oh, you get a job, you know, and we like could build like a solid crew of people that I knew that they knew I had their best interests, and I know they have mine.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when talking about like success with that and everything like that, it's all the people around me are they're responsible for me being successful in any way.
Right.
Like
And
it's not me, it's all of them.
And it really goes into another really important point is like partnerships are super fucking hard, dude. And like I've had like the worst experience with partnerships like that you could ever imagine. Like the fact that I'm even still in business after the kind of burns that I've taken
Sure.
in partnerships is just
We have a lot of contracts.
right. Yeah, that's the thing too. Is like I'm too naive and like just too like
Yeah.
willing to just like trust people. You know what I mean? And you can't do that like in business at all. Like
No.
you really can't, dude. And so these are just like tough, like I said, just tough bails, dude. That you're like, dang, like that I ate shit so hard right there, and that hurt so bad.
I want to go home.
Yeah, for so long, bro. Like sacking out so hard, bro. And just like, man, you just sacked, bro. Like you just sacked, and everybody saw that.
And everybody saw it.
You know what I mean? And
You should be embarrassed.
yeah, it is just it's bad. So, like, I'm really happy for you. You're blessed with like good partnerships and like really sounds like wise people that you're surrounded with, and you know what I mean. You've got a like great service, like great personality to perform the job that you're doing. So it's like it's not a wonder that you're as successful as you are right now. And like I'm super proud of you, and like just such an inspiration, like I said, to the community. Like,
Thanks, man.
like it really means a lot. Like I was always really excited to have you on here because, you know, everyone that I've had on, they're all successful. They're all super talented. They're all doing their stuff. But I feel like if people could like hear your story and like hear about how you went about accomplishing what you accomplished, then maybe they can get like some confidence to try something bigger and better because we know you and we've grown up with you and we've seen what you accomplished, and it's just like I feel like that's the core of what skateboarding is like really all about. Is just like being in like creative and like having ingenuity and
Sure.
like really playing on your strengths and you know.
Well, like I said, it's like when you're so singularly focused on one thing, if you can take that focus and put it into anything you want,
Right.
You just have to, and like I still skateboard.
Yeah.
Like I just am not singularly focused on it.
Right. Exactly.
I'm like happy if I like relearn an old trick.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I was really blessed during COVID. I mean, it was shitty. Obviously, COVID was terrible for business, and it almost killed my business.
Yeah, I know. It was the same thing for me too.
Right. And so the fact that we made it out of that alive too is like just incredible. Especially being in the industries that we were in, where we're the ones that just got wrecked harder than anybody.
Yeah.
And
All hands on in person.
mm-hmm.
Can't do it at home.
You literally cannot. And so, I mean, I was blessed in that regard. So I had 2 years off, and those 2 years I was skating every single day again. And I was like, man, this is great. It was like I got to relive like where I wasn't, even when I was like focused on skateboarding, I was really distracted. I was distracted with girls and distracted with just being a little bitch.
Well, yeah, we were young.
Right. But I feel like those 2 years, I got better than I ever was at skateboarding. I actually, got to, fulfill my own like personal skate goals. Like really, really happy with that kind of tragedy, which was like losing my business for 2 years.
Yeah.
And being able to pivot and get back to maintain my integrity and be who I always was, and got to like I said, just relive that whole.
Well, I definitely think we came back stronger too.
Yeah.
Because you have all this time to like think about things.
Right. Definitely. And just like, it just makes you gritty, dude. Like, you're like, all right, what else are they going to throw at me? Like, all right, you like.
Yeah. Luckily I had video games at home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and an amazing partner.
Right.
To like help out through that.
Yeah.
Otherwise I would have lost my mind.
Yeah. I was trying hard not to lose it, bro. But like I said, skateboarding, that's the thing about skateboarding. If I didn't have my skateboard during those times, I really have no idea what I would have done. I probably would have lost it. I probably would have went off the deep end, dude.
Yeah.
I think I was at a breaking point with just like the falling out with my partner for like the second time.
Right.
You know what I mean? And losing my business, and I couldn't fall back on really anything. And
well, that's what's crazy is that it's like it's like the good old tried and true skateboard.
Dude,
skateboarding never lets me down.
It never.
It's always
does.
been here for me.
It's always been there for me, dude. It's always been there for me. It will always be there for me, and that's just like
until it hurts too much. It
right.
It kind of does.
Yeah, I feel, dude. I feel pretty healthy and strong. And
I went skating with Nate Fantasia and Jesse Archuleta like not too long ago, and I felt like I couldn't walk for like a week.
Really?
Because I got pushed back into the like skating with the friends thing. Because if I go skate with my nephew, it's like we go skate for like an hour and then whatever. We were there for like 5 hours, and I wasn't thinking about it. And it was like I was driving home, and my ankle was like starting to cramp up, and I had to like drive like I had to like put my right foot on the gas and like start doing ABCs with my ankle and stuff. I was like, this is bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild. I mean, you skated a lot harder than me too. So you slammed a lot harder than me. I was, like I said, I was a little bitch, so I didn't really. I took it pretty easy on myself, and so I'm pretty limber still.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, but I was like, you.
I mean, my heels are so smoked. Like if I jumped on anything now, like
just toast.
I can't. Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. I was surprised that you guys let me hang out with you guys as much as you did when I was just sitting around lurking as much as I did, And like I said, it's like if I could ever get some time away from doing all the other shit that I'm doing, and I could go out and skate, and I can have a week to skate, I could get back into it. And like I said, skateboarding just saved my life, bro, basically. And that's like the best thing. Ever.
It's been really fun watching my nephew like learn kickflips, and like I got him a flat bar.
Yeah, you built him a mini ramp too. Yeah.
And just watching him like progress, and it's like I can see myself in him in a lot. Where it's like that's all he cares about.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm a skateboard kid.
Yeah. How old is he?
13.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's great.
He's like wearing these really baggy pants, and like he just shaved his head and dyed it and bleached it. Yeah, he's gonna be all right.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, there's nothing really better that you could offer somebody, but you can't. That's like skateboarding chooses you though. I believe that. Like, it's not for everybody.
And people just gravitate towards it.
Yeah, and it's just
You can't force it.
no. You can't influence somebody. You can't get people into it. Like, you can't get people that aren't gonna do it to do it. Like,
Yeah.
it's just for certain kind of people, and in that realm of skateboarders, there are so many different kinds of people in skateboarding.
Well, but that's why people start skateboarding and they're generally by themselves.
Right.
I had one friend, Johnny Step, who also skateboarded for a little bit, but then you end up skateboarding by yourself. Like, not a whole lot of people like had their homies, like everyone from like off the jump in elementary school, all like stuck
start
together.
skateboarding together, right? You just
end up alienizing yourself, and then being friends with a bunch of other skateboarders because that's the only way. Because all you guys did the same thing and need friendship,
right? Exactly. Yeah. It's just
And then you end up driving from Brighton to Arvada every day,
right? Exactly. So it's super great. Let's see. You got any funny Wet Boy stories?
Oh God. No, that's just all a blur. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I mean, because there's so many that you can't. How do you narrow it?
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was It. I mean. It like makes me so happy. Just like the Wet Boys. Now like. We still, have reunion trips and stuff where people fly in from all over the country to like Vegas or wherever.
Uh-huh.
They're going on a golf trip in Arizona next week, I think. But I'm like just so blown away that we've all maintained contact and friendship. Like Jared Sabo was just in town.
Yeah.
We hung out a bunch. And it's just like it's really cool that we can still like Sessions Sessions came to dinner with us. Which was awesome to see him. I don't know. It's nice knowing that like the friends that I made back then, and like obviously me and you still hang out.
Right.
That it's still going. Like those were friendships worth investing in.
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I know so many people that are just like family life.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And that's great.
Yeah,
like,
it's totally fine. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, even Sweets like moves forward with his family, but it's like still in the chat, like and then like reposting everything, or like in the wet chat. But then like I think he reposted this too.
Yeah, he did.
But
Dave Davis shouting some love to you.
What up, Dave? What a guy.
Yeah.
Streamer extraordinaire.
Yeah. Pro gamer. But yeah, that kind of again that ties into like the business relationship too. It's like you learn how to make like really tight connections with people, and you spend so much time with people, you get a good sense of judging people's character, right? Because you see them at their worst, like through the struggles, right? And so you get a good sense of like how to judge people and how to determine who you want to spend your time with, who you want to invest,
right?
Who you want to invest your time with, who you want to invest money with, you know what I mean? Who you want to become partners with, right?
Yeah.
I just feel like you said, you made lifelong friends. It's like,
well, and especially within the Denver skate community with like, like with men, like and all that whole thing coming in. It's like someone that you've known for years and years and years, and then you hear about what they were doing in like behind closed doors.
Right.
And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I am a terrible judge of character.
Yeah.
When in reality, like, that was he bamboozled everybody. But to like put it very lightly, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
It's a very gnarly subject, and
for sure.
I don't want to like bring up everything, but
right, of course not.
But but learning from those lessons and being like, oh, this kid's a fucking mark. I don't want him hanging around.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people were showing up to those houses we lived in and like were being lame as fuck, like leeching off of everybody, always trying to bum cigarettes and beers and tacos from Taco Bell or whatever, just like little leeches, man.
Right. Yeah.
And then those are the kids that we eventually were like, no, we don't fuck with you guys. You can't come over here anymore because you don't give anything to this community.
Right.
But yeah, learning from that and moving forward and turning that into even to this day, I mean, I'm still like glad I have that like filter on constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've met a lot of people that I wouldn't have because of it.
Definitely.
Like, when I was in high school, it'd be like, oh, unless you're like a punk rock skateboard kid like me, I don't want to fuck with you. But now, I've met so many people throughout the years and everything like that. I'm like friends with all sorts of different people.
All kinds of people, man.
And like, and what I love them truly, dearly to my heart.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And we all come from different backgrounds and different things, and it's just like that acceptance. And,
right.
Just if you're a good person, then I'll fuck with you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's simple as that, man. And it's crazy. Like, you own a business and you're letting strangers into you're taking basically responsibility for strangers.
For everybody, yeah.
Coming into your space. So, like, you have to operate in a sense of care. Like, you have to love everybody that's coming in, right? And it's not.
Well, you have to set rules too. It's like, the amount of people we've 86'd in the last 3 months alone, throughout all the bars, is a lot.
Yeah.
Are they people that I ever knew? No.
Right.
I don't know what they look like.
Yeah. Right.
So it's not hard for us to be like, no, you can't come in here anymore.
Right.
You ruined the vibe.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's a little bit. We're both in the entertainment industry, basically. Same things. Like, we have a venue, we let people in.
Yeah.
Like, we have to cater to them, and it's the same that way. You take a little bit more responsibility because people are getting fucked up, right?
Yeah, there is that. But you also have a bunch of equipment in here.
Right.
And, I bet you get a lot of people disrespecting the space sometimes.
You know what? Actually never. And, like, I always tell people, like, there's no rules anywhere. Like, you know the rules when you come in here. Like, you see what we're offering. You tell me the last time you saw any of this stuff, or like let someone let you touch it.
Like, it's kind of like a museum at this point.
It ultimately is, dude. And it's like, you know how to act. Do you know how to act? Like, I don't need
just
to,
in general.
Yeah, I don't need to tell you. I don't need to tell you this stuff. Like, don't walk in front of the TVs. That's the only rule that is any semblance of a rule. Right. And that's just should be common sense.
That's just be spatially aware.
Well, that, and it's like the kids aren't used to playing with games with cords. Like, you're gonna trip over. Kids still fucking trip over the cord and smash the switches, pull the goddamn Xbox, slam it down. You know what I mean? The sign's right there. I'm like,
yeah,
it's the only rule. Like, it should be.
I feel like that's the rule for but like with posting rules and stuff, like anything you post will not be followed.
Of course not. And so it's like,
people hate reading rules.
Of course. No, I don't want to be someone enforcing or telling people rules. It's like, dude, you know the rules. Be nice, share.
Sure.
Be gentle with things. Don't, you know what I mean? It should be simple. It should be obvious. Like, you shouldn't have to fucking make rules for people when you're in public. Our rules are already of how you engage in any public setting. It's not any different here than it is anywhere else.
I don't know. Like, we went to Meow Wolf the other day.
I don't know, dude.
It was like, we were thinking it was like, middle week, like pretty good hour. There probably won't be too many kids. And of course there was. And those kids, like, and people too, like, it's a very crazy space and there's a lot of weird corners and stuff like that. And I'd just be like walking and some kid would round a corner and just like slammed into my chest. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, are you okay? Doing, is this your kid?
Yeah.
Just like, even I think everyone's figuring it out again. I think the pandemic kind of shut a lot of that stuff out of people's minds about like respecting other people's. I mean, I know it's like the opposite of what you should have been doing, right? But people weren't in public spaces,
right?
Right. So now coming back to it, everyone like it's almost like people forgot.
It's been 4 fucking years, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about that. It's been 4 years, and kind of getting back to normal. I feel like everyone's like traumatized at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's tough. Like you said, being in this industry or these industries, like, it's not the same as it used to be.
It's definitely not, but it also makes it easy for me to get back to normal because it's just like, well, like this is my focus in life is my businesses and my relationship that I had before the pandemic, so that's I can focus on those things and that gives me my semblance in reality, right? So I'm fortunate with that. Like if I had to start over right now, I just wouldn't. Take my savings and move.
Yeah, I mean,
somewhere really cheap.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly where I am. Like, if this doesn't work out, if this, for God forbid, it doesn't work out for the third fucking time that I've had to restart this business, I'm moving to like Thailand or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
and it'll be pretty easy decision. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully,
Nah.
yeah. And like I said, I was still down to collaborate if ever we get the opportunity, because I think that if we work together sometime in any kind of capacity, we could do something really sick with what we both got going on. I know you got a lot on your plate already.
No, I'm down. I still want to do it. I mean, still have Bitchin' Wizard as my Instagram name because I still want to open a bar called Bitchin' Wizard. That's an arcade bar.
I'm totally down, and like, yeah, we could talk more about it. And I would really like to do something a little bit different. But I think we could do better than. I mean, I think that we do this business better than anyone, and yeah, I think that you do your business better than anyone. So, it'd be a cool thing.
I think it'd be pretty easy.
Yeah, I think so too.
Minus all the licensing from the city, but that's going through that again right now. So as soon as this is done, down.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. It's been great having you on, dude. I think we've gotten to like almost. Is this 2 hours? Hour and a half?
Oh shit.
No, it's hour and a half, right? Yeah.
Cool.
Is there any like shout outs or anything you want to say?
No. Just keep being awesome, Denver.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Riley. Like,
Yeah, bro. Happy to be here.
yeah, it's a pleasure, bro. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you.
I still want to listen to Dave or Trevor be on here.
I know. I'm trying to get. Dude, I hit up Dave.
I really
all the time.
want. I really want to hear some Dave stories.
I want to hear Dave's stories too.
I have a Dave story.
Yeah, let's
real
hear it.
quick
Let's
to
hear
wrap
it.
up on. I didn't really know him,
Uh-huh.
and I just met him right after his daughter was born, because he needed a ride to like go meet up with her mom or whatever, and we were at the park, and I barely knew him, and I was freshly 16, and someone was like, "Oh, Riley can take you, like, show up in his car," and I was like, "Yeah, sure, man, like, no problem," and I'm like shaking in my car because I was like looked up to him so hard,
Uh-huh.
and because he's like always so wild though,
Right.
especially in those years. Like,
For
he's like
sure.
in my car, and he's like immediately I was like, oh, we're gonna be friends. This is gonna be fine. But going from like, this guy's an insane person, and like I'm scared of him, to immediately being like, oh, it's not that bad. We're chill now. He's
Yeah.
cool. He's cool.
Yeah.
He's still wild, but
Yeah.
in a good way.
Yeah. Very good way. But yeah, shout out your bars, bro.
Oh, 715 Club, Gold Point, Marigold, soon, Lammer Liquors will be opening hopefully sometime in the near future. And then, as always, Matchbox and Squire. I'm responsible for those places, so I gotta mention them as well.
Word, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, what a story, bro. I'm so glad you came on, bro. Just total inspiration to the community. Like such a solid dude for a lot of people in this town, and just making real shit happen, bro. Just love seeing it, man.
fucking A.
Super proud of you, bro.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys, everyone that tuned into the stream, everybody watching the VOD on YouTube. Tomorrow, tune in to Smash Brothers Tournament. Wednesday, you guys streaming on Wednesday?
I'll stream something, yeah.
Willie's going to play some games on Wednesday. Thursday, if I get back to the arcade, I'll probably get back on Baldur's Gate. And I'll probably stream sometimes on over the weekend during the shift. Thank you guys, everybody, so much. Hopefully I can line up another guest for next Monday. If not, I'm hoping to get at least a couple more of the podcasts done before the end of the month. And keep checking in on us. We're going to be putting out some cool content. So you guys have a great night, and we'll catch you later.
Ask him to join the raid on Dave there.
Join the raid to Dave Davis playing some video games on Twitch. Hang out and watch a true OG play some Vigi games.
He's actually really entertaining to watch.
Check him out. All right, good night, everyone.
Later.
Alright.
Sorry, my family's blowing up my phone.
You're good.
I got it.
That was fun. I want to smoke a cigarette. Holy shit.